Hey everybody, welcome back. Double dose of extra points. We're going to start today some wrestling.
There will be no wrestleback at 285.
No wrestleback.
No wrestleback.
There were about half the classes at Craig on Saturday had wrestlebacks, but
I'm okay with it at sectionals. Regionals, it's ridiculous. But that's another subject for another day.
well, we have about the usual contingency of area guys getting through. And we're going to try to take you through it as fast as we can. And I think probably the best place to start, we'll start right here in Janesville, represented by one wrestler from each school. Senior Logan Murdy from Parker at 220. He's been there before. He knows the
sixth
drill.
last year. Two guys that beat him this year. Kid from Beaver Dam beat him 1-0. And the gentleman from DC Everest beat him 9-8. They're both at state.
Both on his side of the
bracket.
bracket.
Both on his side of the bracket. So, Logan's a technician. And if he wrestles the way he's capable. There's no reason he can't find the podium, and probably no reason he couldn't make a nice run up at state and possibly, wrestle for a state title or, maybe get in the semifinals.
I think the most interesting thing talking to him is he talks about how probably 6 to 8 of the top 10 guys in that class, they all wrestle together throughout the year.
Right.
Up at Madison, they practice against each other. They go to these national tournaments during the summer, so they know each other really well too. So when you get in these tactical matchups where you know exactly what the other guy's trying to do.
Yeah.
That makes for some interesting matchups. So we'll see how that works out at state. I got a chance to talk to Logan after he won the sectional at Craig on Saturday, and here's some of what he had to say about going up to Madison another time.
Take each one match at a time, score all the points, finish each period on top, and then dominate. Definitely don't give up easy points. Score on the outside at the end of matches, and then take one match at a time till I'm on top. Even staying top of my studies, definitely keeping that in check so I don't have to worry about that during this time of year. I've wrestled 3 days a week up in Madison with former Badgers. Kids that come back always want to work with me. I get really good workouts. I even get good workouts here at Parker with one of my 195, Isaiah Jones. He's really comes through, and he's picked it up a lot, helped me out a lot this year, keeping me focused on my goals too.
And then on the other side of town at Janesville, Craig, somebody that doesn't have any experience. So
No.
Sophomore, Keanu Benton at 285, a guy that definitely has been getting more and more, I think, notice around the state, around the area, just for what he's been able to do as a sophomore, the athleticism, the footwork that he has. And he won himself a sectional title on Saturday as well with a takedown at the buzzer, which was kind of exciting little
Pretty cool
moment
if you're
for him
there,
there.
yeah.
And I think if you're him and you're a sophomore, you're going up against a lot of seniors and juniors. You go up there with nothing to lose and just see kind of what happens.
No, and that's exactly what he's going to do, and that's what Mark Mullen said is, there's a kid who, start of the year, Mark thought he'd have a chance to be pretty good, but he said maybe not to this level. I think he's got only 3 losses, and one of the losses was to the number 1 ranked kid in the state. So, we talked about it. Sophomores and freshmen don't normally make an impact at state wrestling in the upper weight classes just because, let's face it, the junior and senior kids are bigger and stronger. It's the lightweights, the 106, the 113, the 120, where you see a lot of freshmen and sophomores. But here's a case where a sophomore wrestling in the top bracket, 285, and he's proven himself all year. I don't think there's any question he's going to go up there and win, lose, or draw. He'll put on a good performance because he's technically he's pretty sound. He's just the inexperience is probably the biggest thing for him. But I know there are a lot of schools already looking at him because, let's face it, he's about 6'5". He's 283, I think they weighed in on Saturday. And, I mean, that's right there. And pretty good-sized kid, pretty athletic.
But he's not, I don't know when you look at him.
Not heavy.
He doesn't, right.
He's not a heavyweight, let's
Right.
put it that way, yeah.
The only sophomore in that bracket, by the way, and there are no freshmen. So he's up against all these older kids, but you just go up there and see what happens. So I think we'll stick with the Division I area wrestlers here, and I think the weight class and maybe of all the divisions, it could be the one that people are going to watch the most is 182 this week in Division I.
No question.
Billy Pitzner from Milton, a defending state champion. He lost in the sectional final the other day to Jackson Heemauer from DeForest, also a defending state champion.
University of Wisconsin recruit, yep.
And they might not even be the best one in the bracket because Waterford's Jared Kradiger is also there.
But Kradiger, no disrespect, but I can guarantee you he did not wrestle the talent that Heemauer and Pitzner did. Both of those kids wrestled either at the Cheesehead or they went to some pretty elite tournaments, and that's a lot of times the difference. We saw that last weekend when Hunter Lewis went up against Bo Ledoux from Badger, and Ledoux came in 44-0, and a good wrestler, don't get me wrong, but Hunter Lewis handled him. And it's just a matter of that competition that you face all year, and that makes a difference, and you'll see that at state too.
The good news for Pitzner is Kradiger. Well, I should say the good news for Pitzner, who last year went through the gamut of just a brutal draw.
Oh,
now he's on the opposite side this time because both Hemauer and Kradiger are on the other side of the draw. So if Pitzner takes care of business, he won't face them until the state final.
Right, and I would expect him to get there, and I don't think he cares who he wrestles, although my guess is he'd like another shot at Hemauer.
Did get a chance to talk to Billy after Saturday's sectional, so here's what he had to say about going up to Madison and defending a state championship.
Pretty solid bracket again. Last year I had 3 undefeated kids in my bracket, and now, it's another stacked bracket.
Yeah.
They say one of the toughest of the year again. It's just really going to come one match at a time. I could get Kradiger on my side of the bracket and have to wrestle him first round now, but it's just one match at a time. So.
And a pretty good day for your team in general to get some guys through there. Are you happy that you'll have some company up there?
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting week at state. The last couple of years, being only 1 or 2 or 3 guys going. This year we have multiple guys going. I think we'll have more fun out there. And good end of the season for our team.
The good news is Pitzner won't be alone at state.
No.
He's got some teammates, 3 of them up there with him. Dalton Shea, Jerry Lipke, and Vince DeGennaro will all be there from Milton.
Yep.
And I would think, I never count a Milton wrestler out at state, especially after what Billy kind of accomplished last year.
No, especially Dalton Shea, who's got the experience. He's been there before, and Lipke's a kid that's really come on the end of the year. I mean, he's been dominating people, and he kept that going in the regional and sectional meet. So again, don't be surprised if Pitzner's not the only one from Milton to find the podium.
And DeGennaro is an interesting wrestler because he's very offensive, and maybe some wrestlers at state probably aren't going to like that. It also leads to some wild back and forth, so you just kind of never know. So that could be interesting. You mentioned Bo Ledoux from Badger Jr. at 106. Shea and Elkhorn's Grant Truesdale at 113. They've had a lot of close back and forth matchups, so that could be an interesting bracket there. We've talked some about Benji Peak in the past. He had a great run at state last year, back for Elkhorn at 126 this year.
I told you last week, I said Benji Peak's going to be a state champion. I really think so. He is very advanced and he gets on top. You're not getting away, and he'll just ride guys out if he has to, and he's pretty good on his feet as well. And it's a weight class that really doesn't have any bona fide stars, and I think it's a weight class that he can win.
Daniel Stilling, Riley Remington, Bryce Jacobson, all from Elkhorn, so I think the Elks got 5 through to state.
Yep.
So a nice end to what was a pretty darn good year for the Elks.
Great year, and again, a lot of those kids will be back. I mean, that's a program with Ken Reynolds that's it's going to get even better.
Moving to Division II, I think around here, a lot of the eyes on Evansville Albany, just because, again, they've got 4 through. But maybe an interesting side, we would have thought probably we were talking about Nolan Kismol or Lucius Reinhardt or Chase Katzenmeyer, guys who have been there, guys who have made the podium, guys who have made finals. But I think the surprise kind of is Brandon Lang at 285, getting through a sectional championship, and another sophomore big man who at this point, hey, with the run that he's on, you never know.
And I think he said, hey, Mr. Tennessee Hatfield, your name doesn't scare me. I'm going to pin you. And he did. And, Reinhardt's still unbeaten.
Well, you know what else Lang did was told his brother Nolan Kismol, hey, I got a sectional championship and you don't.
You don't have one. And Nolan may come back and say, hey, I got a state title and you might not have one.
He's probably not going to like that too much.
Maybe again, all 4 of those Evansville kids have chance to get on the podium, and that's a top 6 finish at state where wrestling is right now in Wisconsin is pretty good. And I know Nolan Kismol's a kid that when he came on as a freshman, a lot of people in the area thought he's going to win a state title before he's done, and he may very well do that this year.
Just a junior for him. Katzmeyer, senior. Basically, the only person who's had a chance to beat him this year is Dustin Hatfield. They've been very close. I think it was 1-0 at sectionals. They could very well.
How come Dustin didn't get a state name like his brother Tennessee? Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Maybe that's a nickname. Maybe it's not his real name.
Okay, all right.
But you could see it. Yeah, I would be interested to see Katzenmeyer get one more shot at Hatfield in the final.
Yep.
It could happen on Saturday night. Edgerton freshman Cole Bavery.
Cole Bavery's there.
This is a guy you've had your eye on all year.
I have, only because Craig Lodahl, the fine athletic director at Edgerton, who used to be the head coach at Delavan and got them to the team state tournament, told me, he said, keep your eye on this kid. He goes, he's another one kind of like Kismo that before he's done, he's likely to win a state title. And as a freshman going up to state, he's got 4 losses. I think the best bet for him is try to land himself on the podium and build off of that and come back next year.
A couple of Turner wrestlers that made it through. Tyler Burt gets the bye there. What's he at, 220?
220, Trey Bevins, I
220,
believe.
Trey Bivens at 120.
Or Bivens, yep.
Yep, so a couple there for Turner, and then we've got just a handful of guys. Miguel Sanson from Delavan Darien.
Jackson Howry from Broadhead, Judah.
Yep, 132. His brother, remember a couple of years ago,
Alex.
made a nice run for Orfordville Parkview.
Yep.
Speaking
of which,
who we should mention, Gavin Brown, a junior.
Brown, hats off to Gavin.
Our only area wrestler there in a Division III bracket, so we'll keep
He's
an
at
eye
state.
on him.
That's all that matters.
Keep an eye on him at 160. We got Whitewater Jimmy Duvall, junior, at 182.
Good athlete. Yep.
The Whippets made it through to team sectionals, which was impressive.
It was. Ran into a buzzsaw, but
nice
that happens.
run for them. And who am I missing? Anybody else?
I think that's about it.
That's about it.
That's about it. That's a good collection of local wrestlers. And again, look for 6, 7, 8 of them to find the podium.
One of my favorite state events. I haven't been to all of them, but state wrestling is fun every day because there's so much going on. It's 3 days, all day, Thursday and Friday basically, and even Saturday. And then the finals Saturday night. This year at the March Champions.
And it seems like the crowd always finds that villain that they don't want to like. And, it used to be the Wisconsin Rapids kids because they won it every year. So the fans always went against whoever was wrestling or went for whoever was wrestling against the Rapids kid. And like I say, they always find that villain who maybe threw his headgear or did something. And that's when it's really fun to watch, when you get that whole crowd fixated on one mat and they're all rooting for the same person.
Should be fun. We'll have full coverage up there. Should probably be up there, one of us, all 3 days. And we'll keep you posted on who makes the podium, who makes a championship run, and how everybody from Janesville and all of our surrounding areas does up there at the Kohl Center. So that's your wrestling preview.
Yes.
And we'll be back later this week with our boys basketball tournament preview as well. So we'll see you then.